The signal came without warning. One moment, Earth's skies were silent, filled only with the usual whispers of distant stars. And the next, every satellite, every radio tower, and even some ordinary household devices began to hum with the same strange transmission. It was not a normal, static-filled alien message like in the old movies. This one was calm. It was clear. The voice sounded neither male nor female, but something in between, soft yet heavy with a strange authority. The words were in perfect English, without the slightest accent. People of Earth, we welcome you. Come to the Dawn Star, we offer you knowledge, peace, and a place among the great civilizations of the galaxy. We wait for humanity's brave, and the message repeated, over and over. For hours, no one on Earth could ignore it. Television news channels cut off their broadcasts. To replay the recording, social media exploded with arguments, theories, and fear. Governments called emergency meetings. Some believed it was the start of a golden age. Others feared it was the beginning of the end. But the most dangerous feeling spreading across the planet was not fear, it was curiosity. Humanity wanted to know who was calling them and what they truly meant. In less than 2 weeks, the United Nations held a historic session. For the first time in centuries, every nation agreed on one decision. They would answer the call together. Single crew would be chosen scientists, soldiers, engineers. Dr. Zetch won the best in their field to represent humanity. They would travel into deep space to find the Dawn Star and to meet whoever had sent the message. It would be humanity's first step into the unknown, and the world would be watching. Dr. Alan Cross did not want to go. He was one of the top astrophysicists on the planet, known for his ability to see patterns in cosmic signals that others missed. That was why he was chosen. But from the first moment he heard the alien voice, a shadow of unease had taken root. In his mind, the words were too perfect. The timing was too precise. Alien civilizations, if they truly existed, would have hundreds of languages. Why use English so fluently? And why call themselves welcoming before anyone had asked to? Something felt staged, almost rehearsed. Still, duty was duty. And so, on a cold, windless morning, Alan stood at the base of the horizon, humanity's most advanced starship, as engineers and ground crews swarmed around it for last-minute checks. The ship gleamed silver under the pale sunlight, its curved hull smooth like liquid metal. Inside, corridors smelled faintly of fresh polymer and machine oil. Everything about it looked ready for a glorious mission. The crew was small 12 people in total. Captain Elena Ward, tall, calm, and with eyes like steel, commanded the mission. There was Sergeant Kane, a gruff soldier with a scar running across his jaw, always looking for danger, even when there was none. Engineer Sophia Reyes, quick with her hands and quicker with her temper. Pilot Marcus Lee, whose easy smile seemed to hide his nerves. And others, each with a role, each with a reason to be there. Launch day was broadcast live to billions. Children. In classrooms, families in living rooms, strangers in crowded bars all watched as the horizon roared upward into the clear blue sky, vanishing into the blackness above. The crew felt the deep rumble in their bones as Earth fell away behind them, shrinking into a glowing blue marble. It was only hours later, while the Earth was already just a faint shimmer far behind, that Alan noticed something unusual. The ship's sensors were picking up a faint, repeating pulse of energy coming from somewhere. Inside the horizon, first he thought it was a malfunction, some leftover diagnostic signal from the launch systems. But when he checked the engineering logs, there was nothing. No such device was registered on board. Alan frowned and called Sophia to help him track it. They followed the readings through narrow maintenance shafts, past bulkheads and sealed compartments, until they reached a section of the lower deck that was not on the crew's blueprints. A small panel had been removed, and behind it, hidden in a shadowed recess, something that made Alan's skin crawl. It was a device no bigger than a fist, smooth and black, with no visible seams or screws, pulsed with a faint red light, perfectly in time with the mysterious energy reading. It didn't look human-made. The metal was too dark, too perfect. Alan reached out but hesitated. Touching it felt like touching something alive. What is that? Sophia whispered. Now, her voice trembled slightly. I don't know, Alan said. It's not ours. And it wasn't here when we launched. Before they could decide what to do, the CUM system crackled to life with the captain's voice. All crew, return to your stations. We've received an updated set of coordinates from the source of the transmission. Alan exchanged a look with Sophia. Updated coordinates. That meant whatever was calling them knew exactly where they were. And now they were changing the destination. The rest of the crew seemed unaware of the hidden device. The captain was focused on the mission. Sergeant Kane was checking weapons. Marcus was adjusting flight controls. The journey into deep space continued, each hour carrying them farther from home. That night, if night even existed in the endless dark between stars, and lay in his bunk, staring at the dim ceiling lights. The soft hum of the ship was usually calming, but now it felt like the sound of something breathing all around him. He could not shake the image of that pulsing black device. He knew he should report it, but a strange thought gnawed at him. What? If this was already part of the trap? What if telling the wrong person only made it worse? Somewhere else on the ship, in the quiet of the CUM's room, Sergeant Kane was alone, sending a short, encrypted burst signal back to Earth. His hands moved fast, his eyes scanning for any sign of interruption. The message was short, urgent, and not meant for public broadcast. It's a trap. He sent it twice, then deleted the record. No one saw him leave the room. The horizon sailed on, silent and beautiful in the dark, carrying 12 human beings toward the Dawn Star and toward something that might not be a welcome at all, but a carefully prepared snare outside, beyond the reach of human sight. Something vast and silent was already moving to meet them. The horizon sailed deeper into space, following the alien coordinates. At first, the crew spoke in low, careful voices, their words carrying that mix of awe and tension that came with every kilometer away from Earth. Stars outside the viewing ports burned like cold fire, silent and unblinking. Space had always seemed empty to humanity, but here, far from the moon or Mars, it felt like something else entirely, like a black ocean with unseen creatures swimming just out of sight. Captain Ward kept her posture straight, her hands resting. Lightly on the command chair, she trusted her training, trusted her crew, but she could feel something in the air. It wasn't just the quiet. It was the way the horizon seemed to be gliding without resistance, almost too smoothly, as if the path ahead had been prepared for them. Marcus, the pilot, said the navigation felt light, like the ship was being drawn instead of flown. 2 days after departure, the first strange event happened. Without warning, one of the lower deck doors slid open on its own. There was no one inside, and the security log claimed it had never opened at all. Sophia Reyes swore she saw a faint shimmer in the air near the door before it closed, like heat waves on asphalt. Alan Cross noted it, but kept his focus on the hidden black device they had found earlier. He had not told the captain. Something in his instincts warned him to wait. That night, while the crew ate in the mess hall, the navigation system flashed an alert. The current course had shifted by 0.4 degrees, barely enough for the human eye to notice, but enough to change their final destination by thousands of kilometers. Marcus was confused. No one had touched the controls. He reset the coordinates, but an hour later, the course shifted again. Kane, the soldier who had secretly sent the warning to Earth, tightened his jaw. Hey, feels like someone's steering us. From the outside, he muttered. No one argued. By the 5th day, they began to pick up something new debris. Small chunks of metal drifting through space, each one scarred and blackened by heat. At first, they thought it might be asteroid remains, but when they scanned it, they found traces of alloys used in spacefaring ships. Human technology? No older, heavier, unfamiliar. And mixed in with the debris, they found something worse. Faint scraps of painted markings in dozens of alien languages. Sophia stared at the data. Spring, ships have been here before. Where are they now? Marcus asked quietly. No one answered. The alien coordinates eventually led them to something both beautiful and terrifying, a structure floating in the black, the size of a small moon. It was made of twisting spires, of silver and gold, reflecting light like liquid metal, yet surrounded by a halo of dark dust. In its center was a glowing whirlpool of light, a wormhole, shimmering like glass, pulling space into its depths. The crew stared in silence. The wormhole felt alive, its surface rippling like the skin of water touched by wind. It was impossible to tell where it led. Captain Ward's voice broke the silence. "This is it, the path to the Dawn Star." Alan's stomach twisted. The readings from the black device were stronger here, pulsing in rhythm with the wormholes. Energy. His mind raced. Was the device guiding them here? Or had it been guiding something else toward them? There was no vote, no hesitation. They entered the wormhole. The moment they crossed its surface, reality seemed to bend. The stars stretched into long ribbons of light, twisting and warping as if they were inside the throat of some great beast. The ship's instruments went wild, showing impossible numbers, temperature fluctuations, gravity shifts, and bursts of radiation that should have been deadly but weren't. The crew felt weightless, then heavier, then light again, as time seemed to stretch. Then, just as suddenly, it was over. The horizon emerged into a new starfield, but something was wrong. The stars were too far apart, the colors colder, almost faded. None of the constellations matched Earth's sky. Marcus tried to contact Earth, but there was only silence, no signal, no echo, not even static. They were alone. Alan checked the scanners. "I don't think we're in our galaxy anymore," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. No one spoke for a long moment. Then Kane said what they were all thinking. "If we can't find Earth on the maps, how do we get home?" Outside the ship, something faint moved against the distant starlight. The thing moving in the distance was not a ship at first glance. It was a broken ring, drifting in slow rotation, fragments of metal and stone floating around it like bones. In the dark, as the horizon approached, its floodlights revealed the truth. This was once a space station, colossal in size, big enough to hold a small city. Now it was torn apart, its walls peeled back, its core hollow. The edges were scorched, as if burned by a heat so intense it could melt entire planets. No life signs, no movement. Just silence and ruin. Beyond the station, a dead star hung in the void, its light long gone. Around it were shattered planets, jagged halves, and splintered spheres, their surfaces cracked and bleeding streams of frozen gas into space. It was not just destruction. It was a slaughter of worlds. Something had erased everything here, leaving only a graveyard. Alan sat at the science console, staring at the data scrolling across his screen. "This isn't just war," he said. "This is cleansing. Something destroyed this system completely." His voice was low, almost as if he was afraid to wake whatever had done it. The silence in the ship was broken by a faint beep signal, weak and almost drowned in background noise. Marcus tried to isolate it, adjusting frequencies until a clear pattern emerged. It was a distress beacon. Human. The crew froze. "That's impossible," Sophia said. "We're millions of light years from Earth." But the beacon was real. Signature matching old Earth exploration codes from decades ago, codes that were classified, belonging to missions that, according to history, had never launched. Kane looked at the captain. "If that beacon is here, someone's been lying about what happened in space before us." Following the signal brought them closer to the wreckage field. The horizon slid past the torn remains of alien ships, some sleek and silver, others blocky and jagged, all split apart as if sliced by invisible blades. They were from different civilizations, yet all destroyed in the same way. In the center of this debris cloud, they found the source of the beacon. It was a ship, human in design, but old, far older than anything that should be here. Its hull was dented and blackened, its engines cold. The name was barely visible under layers of scorch marks. Odyssey. The records on Earth had no mention of such a ship ever returning, or even existing. Before they could scan further, the horizon's radar lit up. Something was approaching fast. The crew turned to the viewing port and saw a shape sliding through the darkness. It was not like the alien wrecks. This one was intact, alive. A vessel with no windows, no lights, its surface blacker than the void around it. It moved like a predator, gliding without sound. Then, without warning, a voice filled the comm system comm, deliberate and in perfect English. "Humans, you should not have come here." The alien ship hung in the dark like a shadow with weight. No lights, no markings. It was so black it almost disappeared into the stars. Yet its voice was clear, as if the speaker were standing right inside the horizon. The tone was steady, neither hostile nor friendly, but carrying a weight that made every crew member listen without blinking. Captain Ward responded carefully. "This is Captain Alina Ward of the Earth vessel Horizon. Identify yourself." A pause. Then the voice returned. "I am not your enemy, but you have followed a call that was never meant to be answered. Leave this place if you value your home." Kane leaned toward the comm. "What do you mean, never meant to be answered? Who sent it?" The alien's reply was slow, deliberate. "Not my people. Not anyone you would call civilized. The message you heard is bait. A trap set by the oldest hunters in the void. They do not conquer planets for land. They take the strongest minds, the bravest hearts. They study them, feed on them. Then, when they are finished..." The voice trailed off, letting the silence finish the thought. Alan felt a cold weight in his stomach. He thought of the hidden black device on the horizon. It was pulsing in rhythm with the wormhole's energy. Captain Ward kept her voice level. "If you know this, then help us get back home." "I will," the alien said. "But first you must destroy the beacon on your ship. It will lead them to you." It is already speaking to them, telling them everything they need to know. Alan's head snapped up. He glanced at Sophia. They both knew exactly what the alien was talking about. The crew gathered in the engineering deck. The device looked the same, small, smooth, black, and pulsing with a faint red light. But now it was different. Its surface seemed to ripple slightly, like it was breathing. It was no longer just fixed inside the wall it had grown into it. Thin strands of metallic fibers burrowing through the ship's systems like roots. "We can't just pull it out," Sophia said. "It's fused with our power grid. If we rip it free, we might lose life support, engines, everything." "The thing's talking to them," Kane said, his voice sharp. "If we leave it, they'll find us no matter where we run." The crew split quickly into two sides. Kane, Alan, and Sophia argued for destroying it immediately, no matter the risk. Marcus and two of the engineers argued for caution. If they crippled the horizon here, they'd be dead before they could escape. The captain stood silent, weighing both sides, while the alien ship drifted nearby, saying nothing more. Then the ship's alarm blared. The radar filled with dozens, no hundreds of fast-moving objects. They appeared all at once, as if they had been hiding just beyond the edge of detection. The computer struggled to keep up, labeling them multiple inbound contacts, unknown configuration, high velocity. Sophia's hands trembled over the console. "They're here," Lund looked at the captain. "We don't have time to argue. If those are the predators he's talking about, we're already in their net." The horizon shuddered slightly, not from a weapon hit, but from the weight of the moment. They were no longer just explorers answering a strange invitation. They were prey, caught in the first tightening pull of the web. The predator ships emerged from the darkness like a swarm of blades. They were not large, but they moved with a speed that made the horizon feel like it was standing still. Their shapes were sharp, angular, and alien, built for nothing but pursuit and capture. No lights, no markings, just dark, predatory silhouettes slicing through the void. They didn't fire. Instead, they released small insect-like drones that spread out in every direction. The drones moved in erratic bursts, darting toward the horizon's hull with unnerving precision. The first one struck the outer plating with a metallic thud, its spindly legs locking into place. Then another, and another. Within seconds, the ship was covered in them like a living shell. Powers dropping. Sophia shouted from engineering. Systems, weapons, shields, everything. Alan watched the readings plummet. The predators weren't attacking to destroy. They were disabling, peeling away the horizon's defenses like a hunter removing the fangs from its prey. The alien Aaliyah's voice came over the comm again. urgent this time. They want to see how you fight. They study before they feed. You want to live, you must break their game. Captain Ward's voice was sharp. Suggestions? It was Sophia who answered, her eyes locked on the black device still pulsing. Inside the ship's systems, we overload the beacon. If it's broadcasting to them, we turn it into a weapon. Push so much energy through it that it burns out and maybe opens another wormhole in the process. That's not a plan, Marcus argued. That's a suicide note. It's the only chance we have, Kane growled. They're not here to negotiate. The alien's ship broke formation and streaked toward the predators, weapons flaring. With bursts of energy that tore through two of the smaller vessels, it was a distraction, a costly one. The alien was buying them minutes, maybe less. Sophia and Alan worked side by side, rerouting every scrap of available power into the beacon. The ship groaned under the strain, warning alarms flashing across every screen. The countdown on Sophia's console ticked down 2 minutes to detonation. Then the sound came. It's not through the com, not through any speaker, but inside their minds. A whisper that was not a voice, yet still felt like words. We see you. We know you. You will run, and we will follow. Kane swore under his breath and gripped his weapon. They're already inside our heads. The first drone breached the hull, tearing open a jagged hole near the lower deck. 2 more followed, their legs clicking against the metal like spiders. They moved fast, too fast for human eyes to track. Sophia's hand shook, but she didn't stop working. Alan held the line on the power feed, forcing the beacon to take more energy than it could possibly hold. The ship's lights flickered, systems failing one by one. 30 seconds, Sophia said through clenched teeth. Outside, the alien-allied ship was surrounded, its hull burning under the Predator's assault, yet it kept firing, buying them. Every last heartbeat of time, the Horizon's crew braced themselves. The Predators were close. The beacon was ready to burst. There was no guarantee the wormhole it created would lead anywhere but deeper into the trap. The countdown reached its final seconds. Every screen on the horizon was red with warnings, the ship's hull shuddering under the combined weight of the drones and the Predators closing in. In engineering, Sophia's hand hovered over the final trigger. Alan gave a single nod. She slammed. Her palm down, the beacon screamed, not with sound, but with a vibration that ran through the walls, the floor, the very air. The faint red glow burst into white, so bright it burned into their eyes. Space outside twisted, folding in on itself as if an invisible hand was crushing it. A tear appeared in the blackness. It's a spiraling hole of fractured light, the wormhole they had gambled everything on. Engines at full. Captain Ward shouted. Marcus pushed the horizon forward, the ship lurching toward the rip in space. Behind them, the alien-allied ship made one final run, slamming itself into a Predator vessel in a flash of fire. The explosion sent shockwaves through the debris field, scattering the drones just long enough for the horizon to break free. They plunged into the wormhole. The sensation was brutal light, stretched into infinite lines. Their bodies felt as if pulled in every direction at once. Then, with a wrenching snap, they were through. Earth filled the view screen. Blue, white, beautiful. The crew's relief was almost painful laughs. Sighs, hands gripping each other. They had made it. Against impossible odds, they had returned home. But something was wrong. The oceans looked darker. The continents seemed shrouded in a faint haze. Cities, those great clusters of lights they all knew by heart, were dim. Some were dark entirely. Marcus opened a comm channel, broadcasting on all major frequencies. No answer. Where is everybody? Sophia whispered. Alan moved to the window, staring at the silent earth below. His eyes narrowed. Shapes were moving in the clouds. Not planes, not satellites. Shadowy forms, gliding just beneath the atmosphere. Their outlines, sharp and alien. Kane's voice was a low growl. They're here. The truth fell over them like ice. The Predators had never needed to keep them in that dead system. The trap wasn't to lure humanity's best away, it was to let them open the door. The beacon had been their path, and The horizon had carried it home. Alan's voice was barely a whisper, but it filled the silent bridge. We didn't escape. We led them here. Outside, the clouds shifted. One of the massive shapes broke through, revealing a predator ship. Larger than any city, its black hull blotting out the sun. And then the message came, cold, inhuman, and final. The hunt begins.